marketing strategies as well, sales strategies for their business sector. And this will help them to develop such a useful content for their business. Yes, and so even with small businesses, there is the seedbed of entrepreneurship. And you helping others to be able to develop that entrepreneur talent in their life there, which leads me to the next question. Brooke, you are proud to own and operate the first female African-American sales coaching business. And you are the woman behind Miss Millions, in which you have leveraged your extensive sales experience to reframe teams and shift organizations' mindsets, so others too can unleash their power and a passion for sales. What can you share with the listening audience on how one can reach this momentous feat?
I live by the quote, to get something you've always wanted, you have to do something you've never done. And I know that sounds cliche, but it's so true. And when I started Miss Millions and when I started to see even when I started to see success in my own sales career, when I was working for other companies, it wasn't until I really took time to sit with myself and figure out what is going to make me successful. What do I need to eliminate from my life? What are the next steps? Who can I get to mentor me to guide me in the next direction? And I started doing things that were not my normal routine. And I started putting in, extra work, working 14-hour days, so I can see the success pay off and make a good name for myself. So I think that you have to do something that you're not currently doing, because whatever you're currently doing, yeah, it's working for you, but it's not getting you to the next level. So I would say live by that quote. To get something you've always wanted, you have to do something you've never done. Show up for yourself, put in the work, and stop going by what you think is normal and start operating, again, from that different mindset and focusing on something that you've never done before, and things will start shifting. And make a vision for yourself and do whatever it takes to make that vision to become your reality.
Brooke, I love that. I
yes,
love it. I love it. I love it. You know, Tammy and I always talk about being intentional. You know, a lot of times, you know, if you're going to go out and do an endeavor that's supposed to be tied into something you're passionate about, a lot of us, and Tammy and I talk about this, are so immobilized with fear that we just kind of think something's going to drop out of the sky, or, you know, we're going to meet this person in this corner, and then our lives are going to be totally changed. And even though your life intersected with the young lady that was a blessing to you at different moments, you still had to do the work, right? Faith without works is, I like to say, DEAD. It's dead. It's not going anywhere. So I love that story of, and really your life and how you live it and what you're sharing with us today. And I just want to remind everybody that we're on the phone with the Brooke Holmes-Roberts, an owner of Miss Millions. And I would like at this time, Brooke, if you could just share with us, what are you working on now? What's in your near future? What are your future projects? And the second thing is, if you could tell the listening audience how they can follow you, support you. Again, the first African-American woman's company centered around sales. We dare not spend our money other places, if you understand what I'm saying. If we can support, you know, someone in the marketplace that looks like us sometimes and that is equipped, okay? Equipped. Her pedigree, you can't touch it, right? Like her passion, you know, she's verified. She's bona fide. So, Brooke, if you could share with us your future projects, and again, how can we follow you?
Thank you. I love it. I'm smiling from ear to ear. So I am currently, so I work a lot with, I work a lot one-on-one with clients. And right now, I am looking to create, hopefully over the next month, I want to create a course, and it's going to be called Miss Millions Mindset Sales Model. And I really want all of my salespeople, and pretty much everybody who owns a business that sells a product or a service, to really get in their mind that they need to have a great mindset. And I want to be able to reach hundreds of people at once versus just doing one-on-one. I love that, but I want my message to be able to reach volumes because I feel it's so powerful. And other sales trainers, they don't focus on mindset. When I go to sales trainings, all they do is throw sales techniques at you. And you can give me all of the sales techniques in the world. If my mindset is not there, I'm going to do those for 2 weeks, and I'm going to go right back to my normal mindset. So I am building this course about creating a foundation, a vision, how to actually create goals and build effective habits to get to those goals. And then we're going to add sales techniques based off of your industry. So that is my big project right now, Miss Millions Mindset Sales Model. And I would like to release that by March 1st. So I know that it's going to happen. And for anybody who wants to follow me, my website is missmillionsconsulting.com. It's spelled exactly as it sounds. And then my social media, Facebook and Instagram, both Miss Millions Consulting. And my personal Instagram is connected to my Miss Millions Instagram.
That is absolutely fantastic. Listening audience, Brooke is the founderess of Miss Millions, proprietary of that particular company. She has accomplished so many feats in her life, and we commend you. And I want to say a huge congrats to you, which is truly incredible what you're sharing with us, and we look forward to your upcoming endeavors that you have, and even when it comes down to your momentous feats. That's the type of blueprint that let us be successful architects of peak performance that takes us above and beyond any ordinary definition of success, which is truly stupendous and tremendous vision that you have. We eagerly anticipate the granding unfolding of these momentous endeavors, and I want to say bravo, bravo, bravo to you. Even what you shared about economics, and even in the situation we're dealing with so many economic disparities, economic inequalities in our life, and when you look at even in the African-American community, African-American consumers spend $1.1 trillion a year. So by you sharing these strategies, this helps us to learn a little bit more about consumerism and what is actually going on with the financial situation in the world, dealing with goods and services and how they are produced. And so this tends to be able to show us how to unweave through all of the situation. And that even when we had Dr. George C. Frazier on the show, he talked about black people to become the #1 employer of black people by the end of the 21st century. And so your visionary insight is truly, truly tremendous. And if we follow suit to what you're sharing with the listening audience and apply these to our lives and be empowered, we can achieve so many incredible feats in our life as well. But Brooke, you are so anointed, and God has blessed you dealing with people skills. And you have to have people skills to be able to be as successful that you have done in your course of your life and along your journey. And so, like I said, we commend you. But I want to ask you this question, and I tend to ask most of my listeners, my guests and listeners or whatever, when I come in contact with them. Can you give us an example in your life where you were able to gain from the pain by turning the situation of adversity to your victory in your life?
Yes. I feel like there's always going to be pain when you are in business with yourself and just in life in general. But I feel like you're just equipped more every time a new situation comes around. But when I really started getting serious about wanting to go in business with myself, that was in 2015. I came up with the idea, and I was working as the director of sales for the medical spa, and I knew I wanted more. I wanted to travel again, and I knew that I would have to start my career over. And I was at such a high financially. I was making well into the six figures. I was living a very comfortable life in San Diego, and I knew that I needed to take this risk. I knew that I was going to be tough, but I didn't realize how tough it was going to be when I got into it. So when I started working with the career coach and she told me I should get into hospitality sales, I had to start from the bottom. And a lot of people wouldn't want to do that, especially when they have such financial freedom and they're living in a city like San Diego where it costs a lot of money to live there. So when I decided to take this leap of faith, it was extremely hard. I went from making well into the six figures to $15 an hour. And my life transformed dramatically. And that is when I started getting more involved with my spirituality and placing God first and having a prayer life and creating a vision board and working with affirmations and really changing every single person that was around me. And I knew that this is what I had to do to get to the next level that I wanted to be at. And during that time, I started to understand that God takes you through these situations to build your character, to build your strength, so that when you go or when you experience new opposition, you are equipped to handle it like no other. And being strapped financially, I mean, I pretty much didn't even leave my apartment for 8 months because I couldn't do anything. I had no money. And I had my car repossessed at one point. I had to pay to get it back, and then I had to sell it. I was struggling, and I couldn't ask my family because I knew I needed to struggle on my own to feel what I needed to feel and come out of it. And for probably a year, I was really going through it, and I wanted to become the task force sales consultant ultimately. And they told me when I joined hospitality, it's going to take you 5 to 7 years. And the first thing that I thought was, they don't know the gift that God blessed me with in sales, and they don't know how God works. And after a year and a half, I went from making $15 an hour to back to my salary and became a hospitality sales consultant. Something that they told me was going to take me 5 to 7 years took me a year and a half. And I was referred and recruited by the task force company, which is just mind-blowing because I had only been in the industry for a year and a half. But all of that struggling paid off because the contacts that I made with the corporations and the associations was out of this world. And I gained so much knowledge in that year and a half than I had gained in a long time. So it paid off. And becoming the task force sales consultant, because I became an independent contractor again, I was able to start my business because I could take off anytime I wanted to. So it kind of all came full circle in the end, and it was worth every tear. It was worth every scream. It was worth every call to my mom because it built me up so much. And I'm so grateful that God had to take me through that. And I humbled myself a lot. And now the things that I used to take for granted, I don't do that anymore. So just thinking about it makes me emotional because I remember the pain that I was experiencing at that time. And I felt I had no one besides my family, but I was living in California by myself. And it was hard. It was so hard when everybody around you is hanging out and doing this and doing that, and you can't do anything but focus on your dream. And now I am where I am. I'm just like, wow, God, look how fast you moved in my life. It's incredible just to think about.
Yes, it truly is. And I'm a believer that we can gain from the pain, and through pain there's purpose. And God has a way to convert these painful mountains of experiences in our life into his instrument of grace. And that's